Raw vinyasa on a Thursday. We have our friend here in the middle, Nevo. He is live streaming to YouTube right now. So if at any stage you can't get to a class, we are now live streaming 4 classes a week. This will be one of them at this stage. Yeah. So class will continue as per usual. Nothing else will change. We'll start our class with some essential oils. Today's blend, citrus bliss and peppermint. So find that nice comfortable seat, nice long spine. We'll start off with your clearing breath, big deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And then sinking into your Ujjayi breath. So in through the nose, filling up the belly, and then bringing that gentle restriction to the back of the throat as you exhale out the nose. That slightly more audible sound to the exhale breath. And settling into that rhythm, feel free to add a count if you wish, as I make my way around the room with the oils. Come up in front of the face, inhale through the nose. And slide this one out the mouth. And then in through the nose again, filling up. Finding that restriction to the back of the throat as you exhale out the nose, this time with control. And then we're going to add a count to the breath. Square breath, I like to call it. So it's the even breath. In, hold, out, hold. So we'll do 4 seconds in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. Okay, so as you're ready, hands up in front of the face. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding in 2, 3, 4. Exhaling out 2, 3, 4. Holding out 2, 3, 4. Inhaling for 4. Holding for 4. Exhaling 4. Holding 4. And keep going with that pattern. Take 2 more rounds. Completion of your second round, no rush. Take any of the excess oil to that favourite spot you'd like to give a little self-massage to. Might be your lower back, might be your chest, your neck, or even the tops of the feet. Beautiful. Now then we'll come to our backs. Make sure you have one block handy. And then come all the way down onto your back. And then take a moment, just ground the lower back and draw the knees in towards the chest. Nice little squeeze and release. Like you're rolling the sacrum round on the mat, start to move the knees.
And then take a knee in each hand, start to create circles with the knees. And then take it back in the opposite direction. And then extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Press out through the heels, flex the toes back towards you. Nice full breath here, pulling the lower back down into the mat. And then mindfully, actively draw the knees towards the armpits, reach out for the feet. Maybe it's the shins that you reach. Take the inside or the outside edge of the feet and draw yourself into happy baby. And then again, mindfully press the lower back into the mat. Try and ground right down to the sacrum. And at the same time, ground the shoulders. See how flat you can get yourself onto the mat. One more breath here. And then try and pull the knees in as close as they are without using the hands. So release the feet with the hands. Keep it as active as you can. And then start to press up through the heels. Return the feet back up to straight. Really extend out through the heels. Look for nice straight legs, active through the quadriceps. Pull the toes back towards the shins. And if you'd like a little support as we move through some leg movements, you can slide the hands underneath the sides of the buttocks. If you're happy to keep the lower back pressing into the mat here, feel free to take the hands to the side or even over to head if you want to make it even more intense. So pressing out through that right heel, left heel, nice and active. Big inhale breath. And then exhale, lower the right leg down. Take it as slow as you can. Keep pressing out through both heels, pulling the left leg in towards you as you extend the right foot away. And then inhale up through center. Keep as much activation as you can. See if you can spread the toes. Exhale, left leg lowers down. Keep extending. Inhale, nice and slow, lifting up. Keep pressing out as you lift up. One more to each side, lower down with the right. Inhale to lift up with the right. Exhale to lower down with the left. And inhale to lift up with the left. And then you're going to take your block, place it between your feet. Squeeze the block between your feet, extend it up. Nice, and then we're going to play past the block. So find that moment when you really ground the lower back into the mat. Big full inhale breath. And then exhale, lower the legs together down towards the mat. Just keep lowering until you feel the lower back start to lift. Press the lower back in a little more and then just stay at that point. If you can take it all the way down to just hover, feel free. And then on your inhale breath, lift up. Reach up, take the block with the hands. And then extend the block back overhead as you keep extending out through the feet. Come to that same point of hover. And then inhale, reach up, switch change. Block goes between the feet. Arms reach up overhead if you wish, or support by the side if you prefer. Legs go down to that point of hover. Inhale, reach up. You get the idea. Let's take 5 more rounds.
Notice any of those little places where maybe your body wants to speed up and sneak through them. Try and slow down through those particular spots. When you've done your 5 rounds, and a round is every time the block changes position, then place the block to the side and draw the knees in towards the chest. Beautiful work. Nice.
Nice. And let's take a spinal twist from there. Extend the left leg long. Keep the right knee in towards the chest. And then just take the right knee across the body. Rinse it out. Spinal twist. Gaze over towards the right. And then inhale back through center. Switch legs. And then take the left knee across the body. Gaze over to the left. Beautiful. Back through center, slide the hand underneath the knee, rock ourselves up to a seat. Take as many little rocks as you desire, and then either sweeping the legs out to the side or crossing over the shins. We'll find our tabletop position. And then from your tabletop, really set up the hands. Check and make sure the base of index, base of thumb pressing into the mat, fingers spread nice and wide. Feel that action of pressing the mat away while drawing the elbows in. Feel like the elbows are wrapping towards the front of the mat. Dome through the upper back a little. And then soften through the belly. Find your cow pose. Lift the gaze. Nice arch in the spine. Long neck. And then draw lower belly in. Press the mat away. Find a doming action through the upper back. Press the mat away a little more. And then inhale. Cow pose. Find length through the spine, length through the neck. Reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, belly draws in. Tucking the tailbone under, press the mat down. One more round, inhale. Cow pose, length and space. Exhale, draw it in. Beautiful. Settle back in neutral tabletop. Turn the fingers to face the other way. And if you need a bend in the elbows for this one, feel free to take it. We'll just stretch out into the forearm. So you can tuck the toes if you wish as you lean back. Try and keep the heel of the hand on the mat to start with. And then lift the heel of the hand off the mat. Maybe bend through the elbows a little more. Beautiful. Hands turn, place them back to the top of the mat. Tuck the toes, find your downward facing dog. And then movement, pedaling out the feet. Take anything you wish that helps you settle into your shape. Nice full breath here. And at the bottom of your exhale, settle into stillness in your down dog. Feel that chest drawing back towards the shins. Nice. And we're just going to play with nice active legs. So you're going to float the right foot off the mat. Feel like you're pulling the right leg into the socket, flexing the toes up towards the shins. And then slowly place that foot back down. Lift the left foot, feel like you're pulling it into the socket. Squeeze it in, lift it up. And then start to walk out that action. Floating the feet, so just keeping the feet in the same position like you're walking on a spot. And then gaze to the top of the mat. Take steps with that same action. So try and keep the legs straight for as long as you can. You'll need to start pressing down through the hands to create space. Walk yourself into your forward fold and then bend at the knees to release. Hang into that forward fold, Uttanasana, taking opposite elbows and any kind of movement you need. Nice, full breath. And then release the hands. Inhale, curl up to stand. Reach the arms tall. Watch the palms touch. Lift the chest, but drop the shoulders. And then draw the hands down through heart center. Move through some lunge salutations from here. So inhale, reach. Exhale, hinge at the hips.
bend to the knees, fold with a nice flat back. Hands to shins, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown of the head, find a nice long neck. And bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right foot back, drop the right knee to the mat, and inhale, rise, low lunge. Maybe you widen the depth of your low lunge by shuffling that front foot a little bit further forward. And then try and activate a little more. Press down through front heel, pull it back underneath you. See if you can feel this outer hip turn on. One more inhale here. And then exhale, frame the foot, step back, find a high plank position. Press the mat away, maybe a little doming to the upper back, draw lower belly in, drift forward. Feel free to support with the knees for the first one as we lower all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift up, baby cobra, arms in, shoulders back. Release down, plant the hands, lift up towards your full cobra. Maybe bent elbows, maybe straight arms. And then lift up and back, down facing up. Inhale, right leg lifts, reach it nice and tall. Gaze forward, step forward. Find your low lunge once again as you drop the back knee, rise up, inhale, active inner thighs, length through the fingertips. Pressing down, dragging this heel back under and pulling this left hip forward at the same time. Feel that squaring action. You might feel a lift, like you're lifting that torso out of the pelvis. One more inhale. Exhale, frame the foot, tuck the back toes and step forward, forward fold. Inhale up to stand. Reaching those arms up. Exhale, hands through. Second side, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold, use those bended knees to keep a nice flat back. Hands find shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back first this time. Drop that left knee, rise up, lower lunge. Feel the length, feel everything squeeze in to lift you up. And at the same time, sinking in. Exhale, fold, take it back, high plank. Press the mat away, dome through the upper back. Drift forward, support with the knees if you wish, or chaturanga. Inhale, lift up, cobra, or up dog. Exhale, back down, we're facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Step it through. Low lunge once again, drop the right knee, inhale, reach. Feel that activation of those inner thighs, squeezing together. Lengthen. Exhale like you're drawing forward, but pulling this right heel back and under. Left heel. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands plant, step forward, forward fold. Rising up on the inhale, breath. Exhale, hands through heart center. Beautiful, let's go same again. Another 2 rounds like that, a little bit more pace. So inhale, reach. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, right foot back, right knee down. Feel the inhale, rise. And exhale, fold. Step back, high plank. Through your chaturanga. Through your up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. Inhale the right leg high. Step it through. Left knee drops. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold, step forward. Forward fold. Inhale up, reach. Exhale, hands through, sweep through, second side, reach. And fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot back. Left knee drops, inhale, rise. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, vinyasa. So high plank to low. Inhale it up. And exhale it back. Left leg lifts on the inhale. Step it through on the exhale. Knee drops, inhale, rise. Hands plant. Exhale, step forward into your fold. Inhale all the way up, reach. Exhale, hands through. Beautiful work. Take hold of your block. Step the feet to hip distance. Make sure the knees are pointing straight ahead. And then Utkatasana with the block. So bend the knees, sink down, tap the floor. Reach the arms up. Squeeze the block. Try not to grip. You want those fingertips extended so you're really squeezing. So you might be here squeezing if that works better for your low back. Or you might be here squeezing if you could feel that length and extension. You can feel space in the low back. Maybe you gaze up. One more full breath. And then on the exhale, fold. Slide the block to the side. Flat back, halfway lift. Knees bend, hands plant, step or hop. High plank and through your vinyasa. Beautiful work. Inhale, right leg lifts. Pull the right knee towards the right elbow and hover it there. Inhale, reach up and back. Again, right knee, right elbow, hover. Drop the knee down to the wrist. Pull the knee up to the armpit. And then reach it up and back. Beautiful. Step that right foot through between the hands. Back heel plants down to the mat, rise up, warrior one. Feel length and extension through the fingertips, and then take the arms around behind you, interlace the fingers, open out through the chest. Big inhale here, and then exhale, humble warrior. Bring the shoulder either to rest on the knee, or down the inside line of the knee if you want more. Breath is full, breath is deep. If there's any tightness or tenderness in the shoulders, bend at the elbows and let the hands rest on the low back. One more breath here. And then inhale, rise up. Bring the hands to the hips, shorten the stance. Square the hips, we'll find pyramid pose from here. So length out of that low back and start to fold. You might like blocks for your hands, or if there's space, hands to the floor. If you have any other variations with the arms, feel free to take them. I quite like this one where the hands come to prayer position, extend back behind you. Keep a little bit of activation, challenge the balance a little more. One more full breath here. Feel the hips squaring, so drawing that right hip back. The next inhale, gaze forward, little bend to the knees, plant the hands, and take it through your vinyasa. Any variations you have, maybe three-legged or anything else you're working with, feel free. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left leg high. Left knee draw to the left elbow and hover. Inhale up and back. And then again, same knee, same elbow, draw it in. Drop the knee down to the wrist. Lift it up to the armpit or as high as you can get it. And then inhale up and back. Beautiful work. Step the left foot through between the hands. Drop that back heel. Look for that heel to heel alignment as you rise up. Active legs. Sink into your warrior one. Press a little more down through the blade edge of the back foot. And then feel that squaring action happening with the hips. From there, arms reach around behind you. Take the opposite interlace, so different fingers on top. Open out through the chest. Exhale into your fold. Humble warrior. 3 full breaths here. While you're here, notice where the weight is going. Make sure there's still weight in that back leg, in that back foot. Next inhale, rise up. Hands find the hips. Shorten the stance, turn those toes in maybe a little more so you can square the hips. Length out of the lower back. And into your pyramid pose, nice active front leg. Hands plant to frame the foot or maybe on blocks. Really notice what the pelvis is doing, the hips squaring, and you pull this left leg back into the socket a little more. Draw the right hip a little bit further forward. Find a breath in the pose. And then on the inhale, find that halfway gaze, bend through the front knee, rise on the back toes. Hands plant, step through your vinyasa. Any modifications you have. Beautiful work. Big deep inhale breath. And then exhale. Your options stay here for another 2 breaths or drop to the knees. Take a little break for the wrists. And then bring it back down with facing dog. Okay, similar setup. Inhale, reach the right leg high. Right knee towards the right elbow, hover. Inhale, reach it up and back. Exhale, draw it in once again to that right elbow. This time drop it to the wrist. Pull it up to the armpit. And then we'll lift up and back and find scorpion dog this time. So stack and open the hips. Pull the heel in nice and tight. You feel open and ready. Feel free to take it over all the way into wild thing. Looking for that nice strong straight left leg like side plank. Top arm reaches over, chest lift, hips lift. And then bring it back. Square the hips, straighten the legs, step this foot through. Back heel drops, rise up, warrior 1. Big full reach and extension. And then draw the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, open out the chest. Exhale, humble warrior. Full deep breath. And then from here, inhale, halfway lift. Release the interlace. You're going to bring the right hand to the inside of that right foot and reach the left arm up and open. A modified side angle pose here. If you need a block, feel free to slide it in to give yourself a little bit more lift, particularly if you feel like all your body weight is dumping onto the leg. You want to feel length through the side body here. And then the top arm can extend towards the front of the room. Find a little bit more depth, keep pressing down through that back foot and feel the upper arm pressing into the knee and the knee pressing into the upper arm. Nice, 1 more breath. And then we'll inhale, rise up, warrior 2 briefly. And then take it into your reverse warrior. Extend through the top arm. Lengthening. Check in with the front knee. See if you can drift it forward so it stacks over that front heel. Make sure it's opening out towards that pinky toe side of the foot. And then arms windmill down. Frame the foot. Take it through your version of vinyasa. Sweeping it back. And then our second side, lift the left leg high, reach it tall. Left knee, left elbow, hover. Inhale, reach up and back. Draw it in once again, left knee, left elbow. Bring it down to the wrist. Pull it up to the armpit. And then reach up and back, open up, scorpion dog. And if you took it there, wild fingers, you're ready. A strong, straight right leg. Beautiful, active movements. Lift the hips, open the chest, and then bring it back. Nice long left leg as it reaches tall. Step it through between the hands. And warrior one once again, rising up. And that nice activation. Arms behind you, opposite interlace once again. Open out through the chest. Exhale into the fold. Nice, one more breath from here. And then bring the hands to the lower back, release the grip. Finding that halfway lift as you place the left hand to the inside of that left foot and peel open that right arm, reaching it up towards the ceiling. And feel that action of knee pressing into the upper arm pressing into the knee. And then maybe that top hand reaches forward. Looking for the length through that back foot. One more breath. And then we'll inhale, rise up, stay in the bend of this knee. Feel the pressing down as you lift up. Warrior two, just briefly. And then rinse it back, reverse. Check in with that front leg, see if you've pulled out. Drift back so the knee stacks over the heel. Keep pressing into that blade edge of that back foot. Feel the lift. And then arms windmill over and down. Hands plant your vinyasa. Beautiful. Excuse me, slide that right leg high, extend it up towards the ceiling. Once again, right knee, right elbow, hover. This time we'll come straight to that wrist lower and then lift up to the armpits. Reach up and back, open it out, scorpion dog. Maybe you're ready for wild thing this round or staying in scorpion dog, your option. Just one breath here. And then bringing it back, square the hips. This time we'll step through for crescent lunge. Plant that front foot down, stay on the back toes, rise up, square hips. Nice, full breath here. And then little reach tall and start to come forward, extending through the arms. Try and pull the belly off the thigh, and then we'll place the hands down. So you might like blocks here to frame the foot. You rise high on the back toes and start to pull this front leg back. Keep the hips square as you're going to come up high on this heel, toes flexing towards you. And use the blocks for that a little bit more height. Feel like you're pulling that right leg back into the socket. And you might stay here or play with floating that heel just off the mat. Feel like you're pulling it into the socket, hover it up for one full breath. Place it back down. And then one more of those. Press and hover. Place it back down. Front foot plants forward. Blocks or hands come forward. Lift up, warrior three. Square those hips. Float the hands. Reach back through the fingertips. One more breath. Little bend to that front knee, come all the way up to stand. Pull the knee in. Take a moment, you might stay right here. We'll go for the big toe and extend the leg towards straight. Okay, balance can be helped with a little bit of extension with that arm, or you can bring the hand to the hip. Any variations you have. And then if you have the knee bent, take the knee open. If you have the toe, take that foot out wide. Again, you might balance by outstretching that arm. Nice, final breath. Bring it back through center. See if you can hold the leg there, and then we'll actively, slowly, like you're pulling the leg back into the socket, lower it down, keep it off the floor. Swing it back, hinge at the hips. Come down, standing splits. Hands maybe on blocks, might be on the floor. Point through the toe, reach it up towards the ceiling. Drift forward so you feel the weight come down through the heel, and then take any variations with the hands that may be in your practice. You might take a half or full bone around the back of the leg. You might take that prayer variation from earlier where you're pointing back with the hands. One more breath. And then find a halfway lift. And take it back through your vinyasa. If you're taking handstand hops, rise high on the toes, keep this top leg nice and straight, and play with a little bit of hop and hover. Maybe 2 or 3 hops. And then we'll meet in down dog. So you might go through your vinyasa, we'll go straight there. Nice work. Reach that left leg high, lift it up. Left knee to left elbow, hover. Down to the wrist, up to the armpit, and then up over and scorpion dog or wild thing if you went there. Beautiful, lift the hips, nice strong, straight right leg. And then bring it back, re-square yourself. Step the foot through. Find your present lunge. Nice and active with the inner thighs, rise up. Reach through those fingertips. Find that activation. Nice, full breath. And then start to come down. Extend through the fingertips, extend through the crown of the head, pull the belly off the thigh. One more breath. And then plant the hands down. Again, you might bring in your blocks. Rise high on the back toes and pull back, like you're pulling left leg back into the socket. Toes come off the floor, heels planting down. Beautiful. Hips are nice and square, feet are on train tracks, lined up with the hip sockets. And this is where it can be really handy to have the blocks, because it actually makes it easier to lift that foot off the ground. So press down through the blocks or through the floor, hover that heel, and then place it back down. Rise high on those back toes again, press down through the blocks, maybe take them to a higher setting, hover that heel, and then press down once again. Coming forward, blocks might come with you, or hands come out, set up for your warrior 3, square the hips, flex the foot, and then as you're ready, float the hands. You might stay down with the hands on the blocks, just really working on squaring the hips. If it feels good, come up then. Nice, one more breath, keep reaching out through the crown of the head. Notice where the weight is in the foot. See if you can balance it. And then sink into that knee bend, lift up. Take hold, pull the knee into the chest to start with. And then you might stay here, or take the big toe and extend the legs. Just be where you're at. Again,
Soften that grounded foot. Relinquish your weight into the mat. And then we'll take it out to the side, maybe with the knee, or maybe the extended leg. Beautiful, then bring it back through center. Have a go, extend the leg. And then feel like you're pulling the leg back into the socket. Slowly swing that leg, keep it off the floor if you can. And come all the way down, maybe hands to blocks or to the floor, standing splits, point through the toe. Really try and activate that top leg. See if you can feel the hamstring turn on. If you feel like there's a lot of pressure coming into that outer left hip, see if you can square your hips a little more, point through the toe a little more. Adela, turn the toes down towards the mat. So your foot's out here, try and turn it like that. Yeah, like that. Beautiful. Final breath. And then find that halfway lift. And you might step right back through your vinyasa, or you might come forward and work into your hops or your hover. Nice, we'll meet in child's pose. Any variation of child's pose that works for you. 2 breaths here, just letting it settle. Settling the heart rate, settling the breath. See if you can notice the energy moving through your body. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg high and step the right foot through between the hands. Drop the back knee. You might like to bring in blocks here as we pull back into our half or maybe full splits. So notice what the hips are doing as you draw back. You might need to rise onto this heel, slide the foot further forward. Do what you need to get the hip to stack over the knee if you're staying in half splits. Might mean bringing this foot more towards the midline. Find a place that's comfortable for you and find a point with the blocks that feels good. And then if you feel like you want to go there, start to work back towards your full. Feel free to stay in half, not in half, but stay in half splits. If it's there, maybe support with the block and play with the balance if you want to work on that. We'll be here for another 3 breaths, so working on whatever the depth you're looking for. At the same time, always looking for this active front right leg, so pulling up on the quadricep, drawing the toes back towards you, and sinking into the depth of this left hip flexor. Final breath here. And then that slightly awkward shuffle as you make your way out. Place the blocks to the side. Inhale, rise up, find that low lunge. And then exhale, place both hands to the inside line of that foot, and then lift up onto the back knee. Start to walk the left hand back towards the left foot. Heels out wide, toes turned in. Wide-legged forward fold as you fold over the legs. Notice where the pelvis is. See if you can draw it forward a little bit more. So you feel a little bit more length through the backs of the legs. The hands can come to the feet if they reach comfortably. Maybe they stay framing the face in front of you or reach them back behind you. If you have an inversion you would like to practice from here, feel free to go there. Tripod or classical headstand. And if you've gotten to a point where the head is touching the ground, feel free to shorten the stance a little, so drawing the feet in a little closer, and challenge the fold a little more. We'll take 2 more full breaths. Notice where the weight is in your feet. See if you can drift it more towards the balls of the feet. And next, inhale, rise up. Nice flat back, halfway lift. And then gaze to the top of the mat. Turn those front toes out. Plant the hands, and then take it through your version of vinyasa, whatever you're working on. Feel free to sneak in more hops if you wish. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Left leg reaches tall. Step the left foot through between the hands and come into that low lunge setup. Bring your blocks in if you're using them. Square the hips and draw yourself back into the half splits. So try and set up that point where you feel the hips squaring. Take your time, hip stack over the knee, flex the foot on that left side. Feel like you're pulling the leg back into the socket. Folding if you wish, staying high if you wish, working towards full splits if you wish. You're getting to that point in your splits where you feel nice and low. You can always support with a block and work into that balance like we did on the other side. And one side might be a little bit more open than the other. If you get there and you feel really good, you can interlace the hands, extend that index finger up. Keep it active. And this front quadricep always has a tendency to take a little rest. So see if you can notice that and turn it back on. 2 more breaths in the pose. And then slowly, easily making your way up. Move the blocks to the side, inhale, find that low lunge once again. Find the length, and then hands plant to the inside of that front foot. Start to walk the right hand back and walk yourself into that wide-legged forward fold once again. This time take the hands to the hips, and then bring yourself all the way up to stand. Beautiful. Hands come behind you, interlace the fingers. Open out through the chest and come back into the fold. If this brings any tension into the shoulders, you can always bend at the elbows and rest the hands on the lower back. And if you'd like to go a little bit deeper into the shoulders, just take a moment to kind of soften through that shoulder joint and then reactivate it like you're pulling the shoulder blades towards each other. And then see if you can take the hands a little further over. Final breath in the pose. And then releasing the interlace, bring the hands to the low back, slide them down in front of you, and lift up halfway, nice flat back. Gaze to the top of your mat, turn the front toes out, step it back through your vinyasa or any other variations you're working with.
on our back. So however you choose to get there, if you'd like to take a little hop through, hopefully the blocks are still handy. You can use them if you want to work on your jump through. And then coming down all the way to the back. Step the heels in. Line up the heels so they're stacked under the knees. Turn the toes in slightly, ground through the lower back. 3 rounds of back bends. Starting with bridge pose unless you feel ready to go deeper. Inhale, lift up those hips, nice and active through the inner thighs. Feel like you're squeezing something between the legs, but don't let the knees knock in. Keep everything nice and stable. Hands interlace underneath if there's space. If there's more space, shuffle the shoulders underneath, lift a little higher. Drawing the chest towards the chin. Another 2 breaths, look for a little bit more height with each inhale. And then slowly lower 1 vertebrae at a time down to the mat. Feel free, if you'd like a restorative version, to bring in the block and stay there for our last 2 rounds. If you want to take it deeper and you're ready to take it into your full wheel pose, there's also your option. Wherever you're going, inhale yourself up into the pose and look for 3 to 5 breaths when you're up there. If you have any other variations, feel free to add them. In your full wheel, try and land on the back, the head and the shoulders at the same time. And my active team, 1 final round as you're ready. Inhale, coming up into another bridge, another wheel. Or if you're taking it supported, feel free to slide in the block for this round. Bringing it down when you're ready. And then take a moment, extend the legs up towards the ceiling, feel everything ground down, and then a little shake. Shake out the legs, shake out the arms. And then we're going to take the right leg and cross the thighs over each other. And pull the heels in tight. See if you can reach the feet. And then come back onto your shoulders. If you can't quite reach the feet, just take the shins. And then finding this opening. So it's our Supta Gomukhasana. Kind of feels like you're on a motorbike. So pulling your feet in towards you will deepen the stretch. At the same time, try and ground through the lower back. Feel it coming into those outer hips, the glutes. One more full breath on the side. And then slowly release. Extend the legs up towards the ceiling, another little shake out. And then switch sides. Draw the knees in nice and tight until you can reach the feet. You might need to lift up a little. And then bring the shoulders back to the mat. Drawing the feet in, getting into that juicy part of the glutes. Notice what the breath is doing, try and soften it. One more breath here.
and slowly release. Draw the knees in towards the chest. And if you feel like coming straight into Shavasana, go for it. If you'd like a happy baby or a spinal twist to end, feel free to take that. Settle everything into the mat. Whether you're already in your Shavasana shape or you're still moving gently, find that same settledness. Full inhale through the nose and a sigh out the mouth to release any of that last bit of tension, dropping the weight into the mat and sealing into your Shavasana for these last few minutes, letting it all drop. Bring the awareness back to your breath. Fingertips and toes gently wriggle, reawakening the physical body. And then find some stretch, some length through the body. Make your way over onto the right side, pausing there. Try and keep the eyes closed, that internal gaze. And see if you can notice energy moving through the body. And then gently make your way up to a comfortable seat and close the class together. Hands can rest on the knees, or drawing them in to heart center, gently bowing the head down in honor of yourself, in honor of your practice. And we'll close on a nice full deep breath, big inhale through the nose. Sigh out the mouth. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning, sharing your time, your energy and your practice. Have a wonderful Thursday. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, just let me know. And if you'd like to do this class again, it will be online for about a week.